I never told my nephew about my $45,000 monthly salary as a top hedge fund manager. To him, I was just Aunt Eliza, the ordinary retiree living in a quiet Boston brownstone, scraping by on a modest pension from my supposed days as a schoolteacher. I'd cultivated that image carefully over the years. Simple wool cardigans, sensible shoes, a kitchen stocked with generic brands, and a living room filled with thrift store bookshelves. Why reveal the truth? In my world of high-stakes finance, where billions shifted with a single decision, I'd learned that true power thrives in the shadows. Bragging about wealth was for the insecure. I preferred to observe, to let people reveal their true selves without the distortion of envy or awe. My nephew, Ethan, was 32 now, a rising star in a boutique investment firm in New York. He'd always been ambitious, the kind of kid who turned lemonade stands into neighborhood empires. I was proud of him, but I kept my distance from his professional life. He thought my retirement meant crossword puzzles and afternoon teas with the ladies from church. Little did he know that behind my unassuming facade, I ran a discreet hedge fund from a hidden home office, managing portfolios for ultra-high net worth clients across the globe. My monthly take-home was just the tip. Bonuses could push it into 7 figures annually. But I invested wisely, lived frugally, and amassed a fortune that could buy islands if I wanted. I didn't. Simplicity suited me. The call came on a crisp autumn afternoon in 2025. I was in my study, reviewing market trends on my triple monitor setup, when my phone buzzed. Ethan's voice was laced with that familiar mix of excitement and hesitation. "Aunt Eliza? Hey, it's me. Listen, I have this big event coming up, a black tie gala in Manhattan. It's hosted by my boss's family, the Harringtons. They're kind of a big deal. Old money, connections everywhere. Anyway, they want to meet some of my family, and I thought of you. It's next Saturday at the Plaza. Please say you'll come?" I paused, sipping my black coffee. The Harringtons. I knew the name. Reginald Harrington, patriarch of a family office that dabbled in everything from real estate to venture capital. I'd crossed paths with their financial advisor years ago, back when he was a green analyst begging for tips at industry conferences. Now, he managed their billions. Interesting. "Of course, dear," I replied, my voice warm and grandmotherly. "I'd love to. What should I wear? I don't have much fancy in my closet." Ethan chuckled nervously. "Just something nice. It's black tie, but don't worry if it's not designer. They'll understand. You're, retired and all." There it was, the subtle apology in his tone. He saw me as the poor relative, the one who might embarrass him amid the crystal chandeliers and champagne flutes. I smiled to myself. Perfect. This was an opportunity to test the waters, to see how the Harringtons treated those they deemed beneath them. I'd play the part, the naive, broke aunt from Boston, wide-eyed and out of her depth. Saturday arrived, and I prepared meticulously. I dug out an old black dress from the back of my closet, polyester, slightly faded, with a hem that had seen better days. No jewelry, except a cheap faux pearl necklace. Flat shoes that clicked awkwardly on pavement. I pulled my graying hair into a simple bun and skipped makeup altogether. Looking in the mirror, I saw vulnerability. A woman who'd lived a hard life, unaccustomed to luxury. I took the train to New York instead of my usual town car, economy class, of course, and arrived at the Plaza feeling the part. The hotel's grand entrance was a whirlwind of opulence. Marble floors, gilded ceilings, and guests dripping in diamonds. I shuffled in, crutching a worn handbag, my eyes widening in feigned awe. Ethan spotted me near the coat check and hurried over, his tuxedo impeccable, a glass of bubbly already in hand. "Aunt Eliza? You made it." He hugged me awkwardly, his eyes flicking over my outfit. A flicker of concern crossed his face. "Come on, let me introduce you to everyone." He led me into the ballroom, a sea of black ties and elegant evening gowns. Crystal chandeliers cast a soft glow over round tables, laden with floral centerpieces and silverware that probably cost more than my monthly pension. At our table sat the Harringtons. Reginald, a stern man in his late 60s, with a salt and pepper beard and a Rolex peeking from his cuff. His wife, Victoria, elegant in a shimmering emerald gown, her neck adorned with emeralds that screamed old money. And their daughter, Lila, Ethan's colleague and apparent romantic interest, in a sleek red dress that hugged her figure perfectly.
Ethan made the introductions. Everyone, this is my Aunt Eliza. She came all the way from Boston. Victoria extended a gloved hand, her smile polite but distant. Charmed, Eliza. How was the journey? Train, I assume? Yes, ma'am, I replied, my voice soft and hesitant, with a touch of a Boston accent I'd amplified for effect. The Amtrak was lovely. I don't travel much these days. Reginald nodded curtly. Retired, are you? What did you do before? Oh, just teaching elementary school for 30 years. I lied smoothly. Nothing exciting like what you all do, I'm sure. Lila chimed in, her tone saccharine. That's so sweet. Teachers are the backbone of society, aren't they? Though it must be tough on a fixed income these days. Inflation and all. I nodded meekly. It is. I make do with what I have. Coupons help. The conversation shifted as waiters brought appetizers, caviar on blinis, foie gras toasts. I picked at mine clumsily, pretending not to know which fork to use. Victoria watched me with thinly veiled pity. Tell us about Boston. We have a brownstone there, but it's more of an investment property. Do you own or rent, Eliza? Rent, I said, lowering my eyes. A small place. Cozy, though. Reginald leaned in. Smart. Real estate's volatile. We've diversified. Stocks, bonds, private equity. Our advisor, Mr. Kensington, handles it all. Brilliant man. Mentored under some Wall Street legends back in the day. I suppressed a smile. Kensington. Yes, I'd remembered him. I'd been the one who pulled him aside at a conference in '98, teaching him about arbitrage strategies over coffee. He'd built his career on my advice. The evening progressed with toasts and small talk. Ethan was animated discussing a recent deal his firm had closed. Lila hung on to every word. But the Harringtons steered the conversation toward their own triumphs. Summers in the Hamptons, winters in Aspen, a yacht moored in Monaco. You must travel a bit in retirement, Victoria said to me, her eyes scanning my plain dress. Even on a budget, there are deals. Oh, no, I replied, fidgeting with my napkin. I stick close to home. Airfare's so expensive. I watch travel shows on TV instead. Lila laughed lightly. That's adorable. We just got back from Paris. Fashion Week. Exhausting but divine. As dinner arrived, filet mignon with truffle sauce, I continued the act, asking naive questions. This meat is so tender. Is it special? Reginald chuckled. Wagyu, my dear. Imported. Costs a fortune, but worth it for quality. I nodded wide-eyed. Gosh, I usually get ground beef from the supermarket. The table fell into an awkward silence, broken by Victoria. Ethan speaks so fondly of you, Eliza. It's wonderful he has family support, though in our circles we emphasize self-reliance. Our children manage their own trusts from age 21. Subtle dig. They saw me as a potential drain on Ethan, the poor aunt who might need handouts someday. Ethan shifted uncomfortably. Aunt Eliza's independent. She's fine. Of course, but family dynamics evolve. When Lila and Ethan, well, if things progress, will ensure stability. We've set up funds, investments. Kensington's overseeing a new portfolio for them. That's when the conversation turned to market trends. Reginald boasted about a recent play in tech stocks. Eyes the future. We doubled our position in neural networks last quarter. Kensington says it's foolproof. I couldn't resist. Still in character, I tilted my head. AI? Like robots? I read about that in the paper, but isn't the market bubbly? Overvalued, they say? Reginald paused, fork midair. Overvalued? Nonsense. Our models show exponential growth. Gently, I pressed. But what about regulatory risks? The FTC's cracking down, and quantum computing could disrupt everything.
Victoria raised an eyebrow. You follow the markets, Eliza. Oh, just bits from the news, I said innocently. I have a little savings in a CD. Safe, you know. Ethan jumped in. Aunt Eliza's modest, but she's sharp. Reginald leaned forward, intrigued despite himself. Quantum, that's niche. Kensington mentioned it once, but he dismissed it as hype. I smiled inwardly. Time to peel back the layers. Well, perhaps he's out of touch. Back in the 90s, I recall advising on similar shifts. Arbitrage in emerging tech, pairing longs and shorts to hedge against volatility. The table went quiet. Reginald's eyes narrowed. Advising? You? I dropped the timid voice, straightening my posture. My tone shifted to the crisp authority I'd used in boardrooms for decades. Yes, me. Reginald, you're Mr. Kensington? I mentored him, gave him his first real lesson in derivatives at the '98 Hedge Fund Summit. He was fumbling with Black-Scholes. I showed him how to apply it to real-world chaos. Leela's mouth dropped. What? But you're a retiree? I finished, my eyes locking on hers. That's the story I let circulate. Truth is, I run Alara Capital, discreet, invitation only. We manage $12 billion in assets. My monthly salary, $45,000 base, but that's pocket change compared to performance fees. Ethan stared, pale. Aunt Eliza, why didn't you say? Because, dear, I wanted you to build your own path, and tonight I wanted to see how I'd be treated without the gloss of wealth. Victoria flushed. This is absurd. Prove it. I pulled out my phone, nothing fancy but secure. A quick login to my firm's portal, and I showed them a recent trade confirmation, a $500 million position in AI futures hedged perfectly. Then a photo from that '98 summit, me, younger, shaking hands with a wide-eyed Kensington. Reginald's arrogance crumbled. Alara Capital, I've heard whispers. You're the ghost in the machine. Precisely. And your portfolio? Kensington's good, but he's playing safe. You're exposed to Eurozone debt risks. I could optimize it, double your yields in 6 months. Leela whispered, We had no idea. No, you didn't. You saw a poor relative and offered pity instead of respect. But that's the lesson. True value isn't in gowns or yachts. It's in what you build unseen. By dessert, the dynamic had flipped. Reginald begged for a meeting. Advise us. Please, name your fee. Victoria, chastened, apologized profusely. Ethan looked at me with new awe. I can't believe it. As the gala wound down, I stood tall, no longer shrinking. Believe it, nephew. And remember, power whispers. We left the plaza, the Harringtons trailing like eager pupils. In the cab back to the station, still economy for me, I reflected on the night. They'd been devastated by their own hubris, exposed in a room of peers who'd overheard the revelation. Whispers spread, the poor aunt was a wizard. They deserved the humbling. Back in Boston, I returned to my brownstone, firing up my monitors. Markets waited for no one. But now, Ethan knew the truth. And perhaps, just perhaps, he'd learned to look beyond appearances.